I remember when entertainment used to be exciting. Going to the movies on the weekend was something that I looked forward to. New fall lineup of shows to catch after a busy day at work, along with season premieres of show I was already invested in. I waited patiently for the next MCU installment because I wanted to see how the next movie would push the overarching Infinity Stone plot forward. I waited eagerly for the next Star Wars movie because I had questions that only the next Star Wars movie could answer. Every Wednesday I would visit my local comic book shop and empty out my pull box, each title eagerly waiting for me to turn the cover page and re-enter their world and indulge me with more of their story. That was the golden age of entertainment, where stories were plentiful and escapism was at its prime. It's 2023, and none of that exists. Movies and TV have become nothing new or fresh. Just rehashed shows, reboots, unasked for sequels filled with terrible writing that doesn't hold up to what came before. Comics have been in a straight decline since ideology and identity politics have been the driving force behind companies like Marvel and DC. No longer are well-written stories worth the time and effort. Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, all at one point considered to be the leading example in quality entertainment, have been reduced to a rotting, festering shell of its former self, oozing with mediocrity and lack of creativity. And I understand why. Why risk the investment on something new and original when you can just buy an existing IP and make it your own? From The Last Jedi and Captain Marvel to Velma and now the underwhelming Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. It just feels like no one is really trying anymore. And with audiences still pulling out their wallets to pay for movies and sign up for streaming services, these corporations will keep on putting out this mess, slapping a well-known IP to it and dishing it out. I find myself rewatching old TV shows like Smallville, Lost, and Bones. These shows had distinct characteristics to them, each being unique in their own right. Smallville had a classy, small-town charm to it that told the story of Clark Kent before he became Superman. Though episodic, the seasons usually came with an overarching plot that expanded on the lore of the beloved character. That, coupled with high school drama, the villain of the week type deal, and of course, likable characters, made for a highly anticipated weekly watch. If you're a Smallville fan, I recommend checking out the Talkville podcast. It's a weekly podcast where Michael Rosenbaum, aka Lex Luthor, and Tom Welling, aka Clark Kent, revisit the show episode by episode and dissect it. It's really fun and I enjoy it. Maybe you will too. Lost was a show that kept everyone on the edge of their seat every week. There was a lot of things happening in Lost, but the way the show handled them was unique. From the flashbacks to the flash forwards, you got to know each character, and with such a diverse cast, the way the writers told each of their stories made it easier for the audience to empathize and understand each character's behaviors and motivations. I'll admit, I didn't watch Lost on its first go. I did watch the entirety of the series when it was on Netflix, and I do still watch it to this day on Hulu. Bones was another show that held my attention. I caught the show while it aired, but usually with reruns. Though it didn't have an overarching seasonal plot, the murder mystery genre, which at the time was unusually dark and gritty, was lighthearted and fun. This is despite the fact that the show had some pretty gross practical effects when it came to showing off the human remains. The characters were charming, and the water and oil relationship between Booth and Dr. Brennan and her team was charismatic and fascinating to watch. Whenever it's on, I usually sit back and watch it, or have it on in the background while I do some work around the house. Now, not all of the modern media is trash. Movies like Top Gun Maverick, Spider-Man No Way Home, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and the recent Sonic the Hedgehog 2 are outliers in this never-ending growing garbage pile. These movies are in no way perfect, but they gave the audience what they wanted. They played homage to the source material, told an engaging story, and lastly, kept the audience entertained. And since box office numbers don't lie, well, I guess you can see where I'm going with this. I've decided to start the series to make the bad and just downright terrible pieces of media shine with better writing, good character development, and above all, have it do what it was intended to do: entertain. My name is William Zen. I am a writer. No, I didn't take classes on creative writing, and in no way do I consider myself an expert. I take pride in my work, and I'm always learning new techniques to better my writing and to make it more engaging. So if you want to judge me based on my skills, or if you want to see why I believe I'm qualified to make these judgments, then please check out my book, The Xenton Chronicles, The Gentian Star, over on Royal Road, where I update chapters weekly, and judge me based on that. All I ask is that you do so fairly and objectively. I do take criticism to heart, because that's the only way I will perfect my craft. If you made it to the end, I do hope you stick around. This is something new and exciting for me, and I hope you do enjoy what's to come. So hit that subscribe button, and I'll be back with more very, very soon.